Well, hi everyone. Welcome to the New England Racing Show, Manchester, New Hampshire, Community TV, Channel 23, and we're also on YouTube every week. And I'm your host, Bill Sturgis. Well, we're doing a continuation of last week where we went up to Bear Ridge Speedway in Bradford, Vermont. Last week we showed the Sportsman Coupes, which was a real exciting race, and the DMA Dirt Midget Association. And this week we taped the two other features. Right here it's SCONE, Sprint Cars of New England, and they're getting ready to push out onto the track right now. And this here is my favorite looking car. It's beautiful, black and green. They look just like World of Outlaws cars, except that the engines are 350 or 360 cubic inch instead of 410, and they probably have $10,000 to $20,000 in the engine versus $70,000. So it's, I guess you could call it a lower class World of Outlaws, but every bit as exciting. I'll tell you, this was a real good feature. So they get them all out there, and then they did some hot laps. Get them a chance to warm their engines, warm their tires up, and then they line up and off they go. And the other feature we had after this is the limited late model features, these stock car bodies, and they put on a real good show also. So we had a great night up there at Bear Ridge. Like I said last week, it lightly rained on the way up, and they had a 2-hour rain delay while they worked the track. It was pretty wet, but then they ran some graders over it, and then they ran a bunch of cars over it for about a half hour. I think the surface came out really nice. It's not glazed over or anything. It came out perfect. The rain let off for the rest of the night, so they just ran features. And they ran the 4 here that we taped, and then they ran some the Fast 4, whatever they call them, Ridge Runners, Fast 4s, but it was getting late. I had a 100-mile drive to come back, so I didn't stay. I left around 10:30. Now the SCONE tours the dirt tracks of New England. They go to up in Wentworth Region Speedway, which they ran the night after this, or the day after, but it was a wingless show. I guess it was their Triple Crown series. '33 Lacey Hanson. These cars are just awesome. We were standing there in the 3rd and 4th corner taping this, and it got pretty dusty. So during one of the, they had a red flag, so we went up top and taped it, the rest of the feature. Here they're doing their hot laps. And there's one brave dude there, standing out on the track. We were a little bit behind him, behind the fence. There's a tear-off on the ground. anyone doesn't know what a tear-off is, it gets so dusty there. You have layers of plastic lenses that snap on the front of your helmet, and you just peel them off one at a time as the race goes on. So you always have a relatively clear shield. The 3 car of Doug Sanborn. I think that was a 2 car, Chris Downs. I believe they had 19 cars taking the green. They didn't all finish, but that's quite a lot of cars. The 18 of Troy Como, starting up there. I think he was in the 2nd row. Here they do it a little different because it's a touring series. They start the front row side by side instead of just the leader by himself. I heard an engine revving. Looked over and there's a sprint car on his tail standing straight up. I've never seen that before. Sorry we missed what happened, but we were trying to get everyone coming through the corner. That's the 33 of Lacey Hanson. I think the wing is holding him up. That's a nice thing about the wings. If you flip over, it gives you a little cushion above your head. Whereas without the wing, it's pretty dangerous. You can believe it, the old-time sprint car and midget drivers back in the 50s didn't even have a roll bar behind their head. They were just sticking, their heads were sticking up above the car. And a lot of them were getting hurt or killed back then. It's a lot better now. And there's Doug Sanborn out to the early lead, the number 3 car. 21 right behind him, Pat Smith. Three wide coming out of 4. And where do you see that anywhere else? There was action all throughout the field, so he just focused in wherever he saw a couple of cars going at it. There's Dan Duvo moving up. And gold number 7. And someone goes around coming out of 2. I believe that's the 21. Pat Smith. But they keep going. He's off the racing surface. That's 77 Butch Valley. Butch started racing this series last year, and he's doing real well. In fact, the next day at Legion in the wingless show, he finished 3rd. Well, we got a fire here. It's an oil fire around the engine, but still you got to put that out. He's out. He's okay. Here's the restart. That's a 20, Tyler Rich in the lead, and 17 of Chris Donnelly right behind him. And those two are taking off. Another spin out. That's the 3 of Doug Sanborn. And someone's going off on a hook also. They must have tangled. But Dave Sanborn, they call him Super Dave, the super modified driver from Lee Speedway, that's his brother driving the 3. And he was going to let Dave drive it the next day at Wentworth Legion Speedway, so we'll see how that. Didn't hear how that went. But I'm sure Super Dave had a good time racing the dirt car. That was the 10 of, well, there's a 10 and a 10P. I don't know which one that was. Bruce Kimball drives the 10. Adam Pearson, the 10P that went off on the hook. Now the car's count is dwindling a little bit, just like it always does in a feature race. a restart. Keep an eye out there. The 7 hops the wheel of the 28 car. Does a couple of flips. That doesn't look good. I think he got his right front wheel ripped off. It's sitting underneath the car, underneath the axle. But he's fine. The car's a little bent up. Here's the next restart. Single file because there's less than 5 to go. Chris Donnelly's going to give it a shot on the outside. Just can't quite do it. And that was it. The winner, Tyler Rich in the 20. Second, Chris Donnelly in the 17. Third, the 28 of Rick Martell. And fourth, the 18 of Troy Como. There's second. Third place. And fourth place. Now we got the dirt late model Sportsman coming out. Three car on the pole is Travis King, the orange car. Let me get the number of the car next to him. Another one of those where you can't barely read the number. The black and green car there on the inside is Brian Chafee. You don't see the flips like you do in the sprint cars here because they have fenders, they can't hop the wheel. Which is a good thing. We hate to see cars get wrecked. I think that's the 91 car, the yellow one, James Fabio, who's a rookie, by the way, doing real well. Inside of him, I think that's the 00, Brandon Gray, another rookie. And the 17, that's who that is, I'm sorry. That's Jeremy Hodge. He's in second right now. There's the double zero. Fadden is falling back a few cars. .23, that's Jason Gagari. And it looks like he's going for the lead right here. And Jason has it. Takes the double zero. Also gets around second place. Travis King in 3 is in third. We'll see if the double zero can catch 23. 17 of Jeremy Hodge is back there behind them. Looks like Jason's able to hold him off down the straightaway pretty well, but this double O is catching him in the corners. The black car there, the 21, is Matt Ellsworth. I think he's about 6th place right now. Well, Travis King just spun out, coming on at 2. Here's your leader, Jason. 2nd place, Brandon Gray. 3rd to 17, Jeremy Hodge. 4th, the 91, James Fadden. Out in the Midwest, this division is just huge. I think they have a race where it's like $20,000 or $30,000 to win, and you got the very best in the country in that race. Must be less than 5 to go with this restart, single file. Get him. Well, just giving it a shot. Jason has just a little too much. They're putting on a good show. I think I saw that might be the white flag, so this will be the last lap coming up. Coming up on the lap car of Travis King. And that's it. Well, Travis didn't really get in the way. He stayed low. And Brandon Gray tried to go under him, but you just can't. Too much turn there to do that. So Jason Gagiri wins the race. And Brandon Gray is second. Third was James Fadden. Jeremy Hodge was fourth. So that was really exciting racing up there at Bear Ridge. Now next week, this coming Saturday, we're going down to Waterford Speed Bowl in Waterford, Connecticut with our NEMA light car. But we were there for their what they called the blast-off weekend in early April, their opening weekend. And now this is their closing weekend. It went by pretty quick 6 months ago. So we're going to show you the SK Modifieds. We're going to feature them. They're having, it's a 2-day event. They're going to have their heats on Saturday and their features on Sunday. But we'll be there all day Saturday, and we're going to show SK Modifieds, late model Sportsman, maybe some of the NEMA action, but we'll have a lot of action to show you. And from Waterford Speed Bowl, it's a 3/8 mile asphalt, and it's pretty fast, but it's still a driver's track. It's not like Oswego was, where you just need all the horsepower you can get to get around there. Here, it's a lot of driver involved. And then the week after that, October 12th, that weekend, is Lee Speedway's Oktoberfest. And they're going to have 14 divisions of racing there. Cars from all over New England. I think last year they had over 200 cars. So we're going to tape all those races, and it's going to take several weeks to show you all that, but we'll be doing that as well. And the week after that is the finale, the World Series at Thompson Speedway. And maybe we can show you some of that. They should have about 200-300 cars there, too. And that's a 5/8 mile oval down in Thompson, Connecticut. So we're going to have plenty of action to tape, and we'll play it out over the next month or 2 months probably. And then we're going to get into, we also have some in-car camera we're going to show you from some of the midgets and super modifieds. So we'll be showing you that as well as the other films. So thanks for joining us, and we'll have plenty of racing action for you next week.